Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working in my junk journal, and after I did some flipping, I'm going to go ahead and work with this envelope. So I am going to keep it like a pocket, but the first thing I'm going to do is add some different of my fun painty papers onto this envelope front. So I found this little strip of paper, obviously notebook paper, in my kitchen. I have actually quite a few of them that my granddaughter doodled on, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to add those on there. Now the funny thing is if you watched my junk journal pages, you notice that usually that first layer, unfortunately, a lot of it gets covered, but I just wanted to keep that in there anyhow because there always is a little part that shows. So anyhow, I'm going to just grab some Mod Podge and my favorite tools, which are my fingers and my little credit card or fake credit card scraper tool, and a combination of all those to just add some, like I said, some painting papers or just some junk papers that I have in my pile. So I I'll show you a really short video later when I did these little painting papers, and basically they're just book pages, and I had some leftover paint on my palette and I didn't want to waste it, so I just doodled all over them. And that is a fun way to have painty papers already ready for when you're doing a project like this or anything where you need fun painty papers. So I have some in blue and pink, which you see me playing right now. Now, since I'm using a lot of glue, I did put a piece of parchment paper between that envelope and the page, the back page, just to prevent it getting glued or getting glued together is probably the bigger concern. But again, I just putting a couple different papers. I did get an envelope. I did get a lot of Happy Mail earlier, which I was really happy about. I didn't think I needed anything until people started sending me stuff, and then I was like, woohoo. But anyhow, this one had actually the word Happy Mail, so I just whipped around or tore off the word happy. I really love that pink envelope, and that worked just a little extra pop of color. And so once that kind of dried a little bit, I grabbed this pencil, and this is a half pencil, half paintbrush, which is probably one of my favorite paintbrushes. I got this at the Walt Disney Museum that's in San Francisco at the Presidio. So if you're ever in the area or interested in any way, it's actually really cool because it's about Walt Disney, not necessarily Disneyland or Disney, if that makes any sense. But anyhow, a really cool place. But back to what I'm doing. So also with that Happy Mail I told you I kept receiving, somebody sent me this really cool vintage magazine, and I was like, what? So cool. So I grabbed a piece out of there. I wanted it white because we went to a couple of plant nurseries or succulent nurseries over the weekend, and first time ever doing that, and that was really cool. If you ever think about doing that, go, go, go. And they had this plant called the Rattlesnake plant. I'd never seen anything like it, and I'll show you a picture at the end, but I fell in love with it. I didn't buy it, mostly because I'm just new at like plants, and they don't usually like me. But I took a picture, and it really, to me, looked like there was a leaf and then somebody painted on it. I don't know. It just was gorgeous. So I thought I'm going to emulate that in my junk journal. So I put some white acrylic paint, and now I'm just kind of drawing what I think are the leaf shapes with pencil. And then I'm going to end up using some watered down acrylic paint, which I showed earlier. I had like 4 or 5 different colors of green that I'm going to use or not use, but I have them ready on my desk in case whichever I decide. Mostly I use a lot of the darker green with white when I try to change the colors. But so the leaves were just kind of long, well, like they look like I'm drawing, but like paddles, I guess. And then, like I said, it looked like painted leaves in the inside. And now this is, once you see the real plant, you're going to go, okay, Dorleen, does it really look like it? Yeah, squint your eyes, kind of tilt your head to the left or something, and you'll be able to see the similarities. But like I said, so beautiful. So I just went through and I just used my paintbrush, and I kind of like pressed down a little bit to get that the thicker portion, and then I tried to pull up on it. Now you can see in some of these little leaves, they turned out gorgeous, and others, they just look like a blob of paint. I'm okay with that because if you follow my channel, I will be the first to admit I am not an artist. I just do what I like. I see it, I try to copy it, and I make it as good as I can, and I'm happy with that. I'm I'm not a perfectionist in any way. So once I paint that, I use my heat gun to dry it off because I have no patience and I can't wait till the next day. And then in the meantime, I'm using that leftover green and I'm adding green to the front of that envelope again. I really tried to water it down because I didn't want it too dark. Excuse me. But I did want some color on there. And then I went ahead and cut out, just using a pair of scissors, the leaves. Now, some of them, I didn't like how they seemed too straight, and so I used the scissors to really kind of cut into that outline and make it a little bit more wavier. So I'm just going to quickly go through that. And just letting you know, I do post at least two videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center, which is the name of my craft room, and also my blog. I'll have a link in the information box with all that information. But basically, right here, I'm just playing in my junk journal. I'm just playing around. I absolutely love playing in the junk journal. So remember earlier, I used that paintbrush to draw to paint the leaves. Now I'm using the regular side of the pencil to kind of highlight or outline the smaller leaves and the inside of these larger leaves, just to add some interest. And you'll see in a little bit, so over there on the side, you just saw, oh, here it is. Sorry. Library checkout cards and also these time cards, which again, the library checkout cards are what I was mailing out. And then I got some Happy Mail with that time card. And again, you heard me mention other things. So I was looking at this and I just kept thinking, oh, the outside of the leaf just didn't seem dark enough. So I went through and I'm just kind of using the edges and I'm putting it through that dark green that's still on the palette. Now, if you're new to my channel, that palette is one that I've had for years, and I just use it to squeeze paint on there, and I just go over it and use it. But it's a really nice thing because sometimes I could just wet a brush and then dig in there and get some really wild colors. But once I dipped all the edges in the dark green, you can see I did some smudging, or there was some smudging, because again, no patience. But again, I'm good with that. And I just started laying them down. Now, as you can tell, as I start laying them down, I'm pretty much covering everything I did to the front of that envelope. Like that word happy, I really wanted to keep that, but it just wasn't working. And really, the idea of this, I'm going to call it a spread, is to showcase these beautiful leaves of this plant. So I decided to use that time card for inside the pocket. I know it's too long, but I thought, let me put the leaves on first, figure out where I'm putting them, and then I'll trim it down. So I put I made 8 total. So I put 4 in the front and then 4 on this, the insert. And then I used my brayer to sandwich the parchment paper between the two because there was still some paint, but they were starting to like bubble up a little bit. I might, between the combination of the wet paint and the wet glue really they started warping. So I really needed to like brayer those down, and I keep a heavy book on it as it's drying too. So there you go. I trimmed that off. Now it fits. I'm going to end up trimming the edges of both the envelope and also the time card. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of marks here and there. I just have my white paint pen and I'm just pushing it down to put little polka dots only on the front of the envelope. I didn't do it on the insert. Matter of fact, I don't, besides a little bit of words, I don't do anything really extra to the insert. Now I'm probably going to watch this and go, oh yeah, I forgot I did blah, blah, blah. That's the bad thing when you do the voiceover is you forget what you did. But anyhow, you remember that blue circled painting paper or book page? I'm going to end up adhering that to the inside of the envelope. I know I probably should have did that first, but you know what? A lot of times you just kind of go with the flow, and the flow didn't send me there earlier. So I just used my fingers, again, my favorite tools, and then just put as much Mod Podge as I could in there. And then now it's in there and it just fit perfectly, really. And I'm going to end up trimming the top later. I have that little notch right there over on the right, in the middle right, you can see it. And then I decided to add some of that pink painty paper there. But if you notice the notch, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's kind of slanted a little bit. And so I just kind of eyeballed where I thought I should cut, and I trimmed it to match that shape of that slope and trimmed it down a little bit. Now it does overlap a little bit, but because there's no glue on the pink painty paper, because I put glue on the tab, it's fine. It if it does, it flops over. It does. It doesn't affect anything when I put that insert in there. But look at that blue, it's just gorgeous, and it's just so ridiculous that it's an old book, and it's one my sister goes yard selling, and she buys a lot of like quarter books, paperbacks, and then when she's done, she'd give them to me to either read or do whatever. Most of the time I read them, and sometimes I donate them back to our public library, or I give them to other people who I think would enjoy them. But a lot of times I just use them for art. I know people, cringe, book lovers, but it's all good. It's being reused. So now I'm using a thinner white pen, and then I'm just drawing around those circles. I do add a little bit more marks around the blue paper, and it's really super easy. There's not much to it, and I absolutely love it because it really is as bright as it looks. Just these really bright greens, really bright blues, and then that pink just looks so good. And then I decided, hey, I have this paper that I just tore. I'm not throwing, you know me, I don't throw anything away. And if you don't know me, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you will. I'm a little silly. I do a lot of crafty stuff. You can check out my introduction video on my YouTube channel. But basically, I live a crafty life, and I love it. And I'm just sharing what I'm doing. I'm definitely not a professional. I've done some courses online, also in person, on different things. But mostly it's just curiosity. See what happens if I do this. See what happens if I do that. And sometimes it's, oh gosh, that was horrible and I just ruined everything. But I'm also not the type of person who gives up. I'll just paint over it and start all over again or whatever, right? So, again, I do hope you like this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, I will definitely, or questions, I'll definitely answer those as they come in. But again, just playing around in the junk journal and, getting things done. But I do hope you like this. I really, really, really liked the dark green edging. And again, you can see here how it looks blobby, and then the white. And I used that chalk pencil, sorry, I was talking about, me, to add a little bit more dimension. I mean, it's just all these little things. And to me, they just add. And the key is knowing when to stop. So I feel like I added a little bit of words here. I put the rattlesnake plant in the front. And then in the back, I'm not sure if I show it, I do a little bit more like journaling because I have I'm part of a succulent group in the town that I live in, and they, the admins of the group decided to do a field trip down to Watsonville, and we went to a bunch of succulent nurseries, and it was so much fun, and it was just a really cool experience. I've never gone to a nursery before like that, mostly because I've always just been afraid because I've never been good with plants, but I'm learning, and this is really a lot of fun. And painting plants is like the best thing because they don't die. They don't need watering. But basically, like I said, just do some really quick, nothing really in-depth journaling, but just a little reminder, this is what I did. We went, to Watsonville, and I just fell in love with this plant, and one day I'm going to buy one. So I just finished it in the front by writing the word beautiful, and then I thought, beautiful, let me put something else, and then I put so beautiful, because in my mind, maybe not so much my journal page, but that plant in general is just so beautiful. But I hope you do like this. Give me a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. That's the real plant. Gorgeous. Also, look it up. You probably get even a closer look on that. Thanks again. Bye.